No, thanks everyone. Big night for me, very exciting night. So I've dressed like a 5-year-old who's meeting the Prime Minister. That's So when I'm not doing comedy, one of my big hobbies, something I love doing, is I love playing video games. Good thing you're all sitting down for that bombshell revelation. Wow, next thing you'll be telling us that your favourite country is Japan. It is. It's the spiritual home of my people. Straight white men in their 30s. Not sure what it is about this aesthetic that says that this man has definitely whacked it to anime in the last 40 minutes, but it is there. I love playing video games. At the start of the year, I was playing this game on the computer called Baldur's Gate 3. Don't know how many people. Yeah, a few people familiar with that game. For those of you that don't know anything about that game, it's a fantasy role-playing game, and the game is perhaps most famous for being incredibly horny. You can have sex with literally every single character that you meet in the game. And about a week after the game had come out, I was sitting down with two friends who were also playing it, and we were talking about the game and our experiences, and they were both like, the game is almost like off-puttingly horny. Like, you'll meet a character and then within like a minute and a half they're trying to root you. Like, it's a little bit much, honestly. And I was sitting over here, I was like, I've been playing for 7.5 hours and not a single character has tried to fuck me up. So somehow I've become the virgin of the virgins. This is tough to swallow for me because I've pushed back my whole life against the idea that video games rot your brain, okay? I've always repelled that idea, but now I believe it. The other night, I was sitting in my office, I was on the computer playing Baldur's Gate 3, my girlfriend came into the room, she was like, hey, I've lit a scented candle and I've got some sexy music playing in the bedroom, maybe you'd like to come in and we can have a nice time together? And I was like, babe, I'd love to, but I am flat out trying to get this goblin to suck me off. I'm at work. This is true. I got onto a forum, I got onto a message board about Baldur's Gate 3, and I posted on there saying, hey everyone, I still haven't managed to have sex. I was just wondering if anyone had any pointers for me. For context, if it helps, I'm a little dwarf with low IQ. And the guy who runs the message board replied to that and said, and what about in the game? So... cool to get a wedgie from someone who almost definitely needed their mum's permission to use the computer. That's nice. I decided I didn't want to be a little baby boy with little baby boy hobbies anymore. I wanted to grow up, and so I was rapt recently to get a letter in the mail from the ANZ Bank that said, congratulations, we have approved your request for a $10,000 loan. We are depositing the money into your account listed below. And then the more I thought about it, the more I realised that I had not applied for a $10,000 loan. And that bank account they'd listed was not my bank account. So, okay, one of two things has happened here. Either someone has stolen my identity and they've used it to fraudulently obtain $10,000 from the ANZ Bank, or I have gotten so blackout drunk one night that I've applied for a $10,000 loan and completely forgotten about it. And it'll say a lot about how I live my life that it wasn't immediately obvious to me which of those two scenarios I was looking at. Genuinely was difficult because about a month before this had happened, this is what had happened to me. I'd had a package arrive in the mail. I opened it up. The item inside was something that I had no recollection of ordering, no use for in my life whatsoever. And so I thought, oh, okay, this has gone to the wrong address. And then I look at the front of the envelope and it was addressed to me. It was my name. It was my address. So I do some digging. I go into my email. I find the receipt from purchasing this item. I had purchased it at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning, so clearly on the tail end of a massive session. And the item in question was the Ratatouille soundtrack on vinyl. Now you might be thinking to yourself, when is one going to have the cause to listen to the Ratatouille soundtrack on vinyl? Great question. I haven't uncovered it yet, but here's the good news. I don't own a record player. So that's where I'm at in my life. I'm booty calling a cartoon rat. So, highly conceivable to me that I could have purchased the vinyl, sent an email to the ANZ Bank being like, hey guys, can I have $10,000? I'm eyeing off the soundtrack to Fievel Goes West on cassette, and it's not cheap. Hit send. pass out fully clothed with the lights on. Another classic Friday night in the books. But no, I did a bit of digging and I found out what had actually happened was that, yes, my identity had been stolen. Someone had pretended to be me and they had gotten $10,000 out of the ANZ Bank because of it. And that was very, a lot to process. Like, it's a very invasive thing to have happen to you. You feel like very betrayed. You feel very weird. It was also an extra difficult pill for me to swallow because in that same week, I had applied and been rejected for a Costco membership. Well, this man doesn't seem financially secure at all. Heaven forbid we let him have cheap toilet paper. So now I had to go through the rigmarole of contacting the ANZ Bank to let them know what had happened. So I called up the bank. I thought this was going to be a very stressful, very arduous process. But I get on the phone and I get this guy. I get on pretty quickly and I just kind of tell him the story the way I just told all of you. And he kind of types away on his computer for a little bit. And then he goes, yeah, I can see right here that this is obviously a fraudulent loan application. I'm going to delete this from your account right now. You won't have to worry about any of the repayments. Can I help you out with anything else? And then I decided, because this had gone pretty easily, I thought I'd have a bit of fun with the guy from the bank. So I said, so it just seems like this person got away with this pretty easily and kind of makes you wonder, where was the ANZ Falcon while this was happening? Was he out the back eating a rat? Now, for context, about 10 years ago, the ANZ Bank launched a new ad campaign introducing their new mascot, the ANZ Falcon. And the ANZ Falcon is one of my favourite characters of any kind of advertising. The ad was, someone steals money, they're running down the street, the Falcon chases after them, starts pecking them in the face, and then the ANZ logo comes up while they're just screaming and begging for mercy. We need more ads for banks that look like they were directed by Quentin Tarantino, honestly. And that really resonated with me. I was going to move my banking over to the ANZ Bank when I saw that ad because I do my banking with the Commonwealth Bank and our mascot is the Dolomites. A bunch of wussy little aliens that they put on pencil cases and rulers when we were in grade 3 to trick us into thinking that finance was fun, okay? We need to do a fully unpacking of the Dolomites at some stage, by the way. Beyond the fact that they just look like complete shit, you've got to wonder, why did these aliens come to Earth and then spend all of their time hanging out with school children, okay? Something's going on here, and I think it might be the fact that they're not allowed within 4,000 light years of any schools on their home planet, okay? That's all I'm saying. But I remember seeing the ads for the ANZ Falcon and thinking to myself, you know what? I reckon the ANZ Falcon could fucking kill a Dolomite if it wanted to. To be clear, I do think that the ANZ Falcon could kill most major mascots that exist in advertising, including, but not limited to, the Compare the Market Meerkats, Jim from Jim's Mowing, the Lube-mobile Kid, the Dolmio Puppets, the Toilet Duck, the Tucker Bag, Ken Bruce, and the Smith's Gobbledoc. In fact, it's just going to be quicker if I tell you the one mascot that I think that the ANZ Falcon wouldn't be able to take out. Probably pretty obvious what this one's going to be. The mascot of Uniqlo, of course. We all know him, we all love him. Nebulon, the Eater of Souls. I think... started 2 arts degrees, and that's where it gets you. So that's the ANZ Falcon. So I'm on the phone to the man from the ANZ Bank, and now you all have the context for what I've said and how it's great stuff. I'll refresh you again. This person got away with this pretty easily. Makes you wonder, where was the ANZ Falcon while this was going on? Was he out the back eating a rat? And the guy from the bank goes, what? And I go, well, you know the mascot of your bank? Well, just seems to me like this person did this pretty easily, and kind of makes me wonder, where was the ANZ Falcon while this was going on? I was thinking maybe he was out the back Out the back eating a rat. Then there's a 3-second pause, and the man from the bank goes, "Well, I can see why they stole your identity and not your personality." So then I had to go into the police and I had to give a statement to them about... Oh, fuck, this is probably them, sorry. Hello?
Hello, this is Constable Cupie from the Fitzroy Police Station. Is now a good time?
I'm sort of in the middle of doing a stand-up comedy show right now.
Wow, and how are the audience handling this abrupt pivot from stand-up comedy to something a bit more theatrical?
Yeah, good. I can see a few gormless mugs in the crowd who clearly think that this is a real phone call, so that's promising.
Well, I think that's a testament to how perfectly you've got the timing down.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate... Oh, sorry. No, sorry, you go.
I've just read the statement you gave about your identity being stolen, and I had a couple of questions.
Oh, shoot.
What the hell was all that stuff about the Ratatouille soundtrack? Were you testing material or something?
Not really, although if you've got a spare couple of minutes, I've got some Baldur's Gate material that could use a punching up.
Yeah, look, unfortunately, we're going to have to drop your case because we're just really flat out here at the moment. There's a kingpin who's importing a new synthetic drug that sniffer dogs can't detect. Actually, we're dogs. Maybe they're sniffer humans. Yeah, sniffer humans can't detect, so I'm sure you can understand.
Call me insane, but is that a Yoho Diablo I can hear in the background?
No. That spinning sound is a tape recorder. I'm wearing a wire.
You're wearing a wire at the police station.
Yeah, mate, I'm undercover as a guy on a phone call to the world's most boring man.
Look, if you're not going to solve the case, that's fine, but can't you at least tell me how this might have happened?
Look, it was probably a letterbox.
Okay, I see what you're saying. My letterbox came to life, it went into the bank, and it applied for the loan. It's genius!
No, oh God, you're stupid. I mean, the person who stole your identity would have done it by stealing some mail out of your letterbox.
No, impossible. It's totally secure. It's got a little padlock on it that cost $4 from Bunnings.
Well, then how did I get this water bill, a birthday card from your auntie, and the latest edition of Big Anime Jugs Monthly?
You stole my mail?
Of course I stole your mail, brother. I'm the cops. We do heaps of bad stuff. It's almost pointless parodying this. You want my advice? Let it go. People steal money using fake identities all the time, and we literally never end up catching them. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying if you were to do this, you would almost definitely get away with it.
Interesting.
No, it's not. Anyway, I have to go. I can see an old lady across the street waiting at the lights.
Oh, that's nice. You're going to help her cross the road?
God, no. I'm going to push the old battle axe in front of a truck.
God, it's red hot satire, isn't it, folks?
Before I go, I have one final question. What was the name of your first pet?
Thorn.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, folks. I'm sure it won't happen again. So I had no idea how this person stole my identity, but the weird thing is I myself have fraudulently obtained thousands of dollars at one point in my life for lying and pretending to be someone else. It was 2010. I was 24 years old. I'd been doing comedy for a few years, and I got an email out of the blue from the ABC casting department offering me a role in an episode of a new comedy murder mystery series that they were casting called Sleuth 101. Do we have any Sleuth 101 fans in? Second series any day now, I reckon. The email said this. It said, "We are casting for the role of Torben. He's a tech guru billionaire genius and he speaks in a Dutch accent. The role pays $2,000 and it's yours if you can do a Dutch accent." So I minimised the window. I opened up YouTube. I typed in Austin Powers in Goldmember. And then I watched about 7.5 minutes worth of clips. And I said to myself, sure, I think I could do the Dutch accent. I'm only going to do that 4 or 5 more times, I promise. So I said I could do the Dutch accent and I got cast in the role on this TV show, okay? I lied to them to get the role. I lied, okay? I couldn't do a Dutch accent. I didn't even know where in the world the Dutch accent was from. I genuinely believed, and keep in mind that I'm 24 years old in this story, I genuinely believed that there was a part of the world called Dutch mania. I lied to them. I lied because I wanted to be on TV and earn $2,000. And I would do the exact same thing today in a heartbeat, because it is a small, cutthroat industry and you have to do whatever you can to get ahead. I would genuinely drink my own piss on camera if I thought it'd get me a run on Have You Been Paying Attention? But I keep sending in the tapes to Working Dog, and if anything, I'm starting to think it might be having a detrimental effect on my chances. I've never gotten an email like that since, by the way. That is so rare to just get an email that is just straight up offering you the role if you want it. Because generally speaking, the emails that you get from casting agents are some of the most toxic messages you will ever receive online. Recently, I got one for an ABC sitcom that they were casting. I was very excited about the potential of being in this show. Thought this could be great for my career. And then I read the description of the character that they wanted me to audition for, and it said this: "We are looking for a pudding-faced man who looks as if he could pass for a virgin and obviously has an obsessive interest in computer games. I need to stress we're not looking for anyone conventionally handsome or even unconventionally handsome. In fact, if attractiveness could be measured on a scale of 1 to 10, then this man would definitely be a 1. Those are the kinds of things that a stranger will send to you if you work in show business, and you're not allowed to be annoyed, you're not allowed to be upset. You have to write back and say things like, "Thanks so much for thinking of me. I should be able to make it into the audition in the afternoon. I've got a therapy appointment in the morning. I've been feeling really down about myself for some weird reason." So I waddle into the audition room. I sit down next to all the other sweaty little pig men who've somehow managed to pull themselves away from Crash Bandicoot for half an hour to come in here. I go in and I do the audition. I give it my goddamn best, and then I sit by the phone for like a week waiting to find out if I got the role. And I didn't get it. I didn't get that part. Terrible actor or too sexy? You be the judge. So I'm on Sleuth 101, right? I'm very excited by this. It's my first time I'm ever going to be on TV. A week before we start filming, we go into the ABC to do a script read-through with all the cast. There are a lot of very cool people in the cast of this episode with me that I was excited to meet. One of the people in this episode was Nazim Hussain, who's a very famous comedian now. You might have seen his work. This was his first time on TV. This is the first time I met him. And so we read through the script. The director, the producer, and the writer are there. We get to the end of the script, and the director says, "Now, does anyone have any questions or issues with the script?" And Nazim puts his hand up and he goes, so the character that you've got me playing is a Sri Lankan man, like me. I'm a Sri Lankan man. And you've given the character the name of Ramesh, which is just not a Sri Lankan name. It's not a name that a Sri Lankan man would ever have. So if you wanted the show to be a little bit more authentic, maybe you could think about, just changing the name. And the director and the writer are like, "Oh yeah, that's great feedback. Yeah, we'll make a note of that." So they write it down. A week later, we go into the ABC for the first day of filming. Very exciting stuff. We all get handed freshly printed off copies of the script for the first time, and we're looking through them. The scripts are all identical to what we read through the other day, except with one change. Nazim's character's name had been changed to Nazim. One of the greatest things I've ever witnessed, just watching this 60-year-old white writer from the ABC just eyeballing Nazim, just "How's that, mate? Is that authentic enough for you? Is that the kind of name that a Sri Lankan man might have? Any more brain busters for us?" So now the pressure is on for the Dutch accent, okay? Because now the Sri Lankan character in the show is 100% authentic. My Dutch accent now has a lot to live up to. And you might be thinking to yourselves, surely you've done more to prepare for this role than just watch 7.5 minutes worth of Goldmember. And you're right, it'd been a couple of months. I had done more to prepare. I'd now watched all of Goldmember twice, and I've learnt that there is no such place as Dutch mania. It's actually called Dutchganistan. So get a load of freaking Daniel Day-Lewis over here. So I'm in the first scene of the day. I'm in like hair and makeup and costume and everything, and I'm all excited. I'm waiting off set for my cue. The first line of dialogue that I had to deliver in the show was this. It was the line, "Quick, name the world's most famous tennis player." So I'm waiting off set. The cameras start rolling. The director yells action. I walk onto set and I go, "Quick! Name the world's most famous tennis player." But obviously not that good. Like this is 15 years ago, keep in mind. I'm way more skilled of a thespian now. So like, imagine that, but like 40% worse, maybe in the ballpark. So I think I'm doing good work here. So every other scene that I'm in, I'm ratcheting up the intensity of the Dutch accent just a little bit more every scene I'm in. And around midday, I notice a weird shift in the atmosphere. Like, I'm walking past people, I can see them like whispering to each other. Conversations are abruptly ending every time I walk into a room. People won't make eye contact with me. And genuinely, I start thinking to myself, yeah, I see what's happening here. People are all gossiping about what a great job I'm doing with my Dutch accent. There truly is nothing better in this world than being a 24-year-old male, because you are too stupid to have any kind of self-doubt whatsoever, you know? You just be walking down the street with your fly open and your dick hanging out, like, people must be staring at me because I've been working out. Tra-la-la-la-la. So about 4 p.m, the director comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, I'm just wondering if we could have a quick word." And he takes me into this private room and he sits me down and he goes, "So about the accent." And I'm thinking, here we go. He's about to tell me I've been nominated for a Logie. Seems crazy, we've only done like 3 scenes, but I am killing it. No one can deny that. Tra-la-la-la-la. But instead he goes, "About the accent, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a line where Claire Hooper, her character is going to ask you where the accent is from, and then I want you to just completely crumble and just say that you made up the accent, you're actually from Broadmeadows, you just invented this accent to sound like more of an impressive, worldly tech guru, billionaire genius, and then for the rest of the episode, just talk in your regular Australian accent. Can you do that?" He actually said, "Can you do that?" This man has been so rattled by everything he's seen in the last 8 hours that now he's doubting my ability to even do a convincing Australian accent. And so I was like, "Yeah, no worries, cobber, fair sucker, the Savile, I reckon I can do that for you. Too right, mate." Is this not the most straight white man story you've ever heard in your life, by the way? I have lied to a massive institution, completely taken the piss here. I've come in, I've wasted all these people's time. There were multiple opportunities where I could have put my hand up and owned up to what I'd done, but instead I ploughed on blindly, just trying to gaslight an entire crew of people into thinking that they were wrong and that they didn't know what the Dutch accent sounded like. And rather than punish or humble me in any way, instead, the universe has bent back around on itself in order to let me off the hook and justify my bad behaviour. I couldn't have known it at the time, but I was part of the problem. And I'll tell you this much for free, it felt fucking fantastic. Oh. God, I wake up in a cold sweat sometimes when I think about how close I came to almost learning a lesson. Oh. Can you imagine if I'd been fired off that show and never worked again, and then I'd be standing here today as a 37-year-old comedian whose only media credit is a podcast? I'd kill myself. So a month later, this episode of Sleuth 101 is on the air on the ABC. Sure you all remember where you were on that fateful night. And I had a little viewing party. Like I said, this is my first time on TV. I had a little viewing party, had some friends and family around to all watch this episode with me. And all my friends are like laughing at how bad my accent is. And then when there's the big reveal that it's meant to be bad all along, people are like patting me on the back. The vibe is sort of like what I imagine it must have been like to go hang out at OJ's crib after he got off, you know? Just like our mate has definitely done some awful shit, but he beat the system and he's still our mate. There's something to be said for it. Everyone's having a really nice time. And then we get to the end of the episode, the credits come up, and my name comes up on the screen. Everyone's like standing up, applauding. It's this really nice moment. And then my cousin Holly stands up. She stands up, she points at the screen, and she goes, "Hey, they've spelled your name wrong." And they had me in the credits as Tony Dassalo. Tony Dassalo. And I'm standing there surrounded by these people I love, and I'm just looking at the screen, and I'm like, the lack of effort that some people put into their work is absolutely disgusting. Hello?
Hello, this is Charlene the Dolomite calling from the Commonwealth Bank.
Charlene, I don't remember that one from my pencil case in grade 3.
Yeah, they took me off the pencil case after I did a nude spread in the Financial Review.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Easily in the top 5 horniest editions of the Financial Review, in my opinion. You're pretty hot for a disgusting little alien.
Thanks, same to you. I wanted to talk to you about a fraudulent application that we've received for a $10,000 loan. We think it may have been lodged by you under an alias.
No, nothing to do with me. I actually heard there's an evil letterbox going around doing this kind of stuff.
The application was submitted under the name Austin Powers. We've reviewed the security footage from when the application was lodged, and while the costume is very convincing, at one point you say out loud, "My wife, yeah baby." We then cross-referenced your bank account, and your last 2 transactions are for an Austin Powers costume and a Swedish-made penis enlarger pump, which is a reference from the first Austin Powers movie.
Yeah, it's a reference to the movie, that's why I bought it.
Maybe this kind of shit would make it past the ANZ Falcon, but the Dolomites are a different breed. I'd take this pen and shove it up your dickhole if it wasn't bolted down.
Yeah, look, okay, you got me. It's just someone stole my identity. The cops don't want to do anything about it, and I thought I could get away with it and get into the mind of the person who did this. It's a shame you caught me, though, because I was actually going to take that $10,000 and use it to invest in some of those fossil fuels I've heard so much about lately.
Oh, well, why didn't you say so? You can just have the $10,000. Don't even worry about paying it back.
It's very shagadelic satire, isn't it, baby?
Listen, love, the cops in the bank aren't going to help you. Sounds like you've only got one option left. A true crime podcast.
Oh, great idea. I listened to one of them, and one time the host liked one of my tweets, so we're basically best friends.
Before I go, I just have one more question. What was your mother's maiden name?
Robertson.
Thank you.
I spend way too much time on social media. I think a lot of us feel like we do. And that is where, on social media, you spend a lot of your time pretending to be someone else, don't you? You put on a bit of a persona. And that's very true of Instagram. I still love Instagram, right? A lot of people are off it. They think it's like a very negative app, that it's like bad for your self-esteem. I've only ever had positive experiences on there. In fact, I've had one of the most positive experiences that you can have on Instagram. Something happened to me about 4 years ago on there. I was on Instagram one Sunday morning. I was in my messages folder, in the other messages folder, and I had a message from someone I'd never met before, a girl I'd never met before, and the message said, "Hey, I just had to send you a message and apologise because I was at a house party last night. I was with my friend, and we were both lamenting being single and how hard it is to meet people. And she was telling me that she'd teach me how to do the DM slide. And she said that the way that you do the DM slide is that you go onto someone's page, you like every single photo that they've ever posted, and then you use that as a platform to sort of start a conversation with them. And so you turned up on my Discover randomly on Instagram last night. I've gone back and I've liked every single one of your photos. And then I'm now here sending this message, and I just feel like even more of a psycho. And I just wanted to say I'm so sorry for how this has all played out." And I had to write back and say, "Hey, thank you so much for sending me this message. I really appreciate it. But I've got to be honest, I didn't notice that any of this had happened because I host a podcast, and so this isn't even in the top 5 weirdest interactions I've had online this week. There is an obese, bearded craft beer enthusiast who is regularly sending me shirtless photos of himself with no text or caption attached. So you're going to have to get in line, toots." But we got chatting, and we chatted for a bit, and then eventually we went out for a drink, and then eventually we went out for a few more drinks, and then we started dating, and now we're together. We've been together 4 years, we live together, we've got a little dog together. It's great, it's awesome, right? And so, yeah, thank you. Most of the room clapping, one person walking out, so that was the craft beer enthusiast. He's off the market, what's the point? We were sitting around, me and my girlfriend, a couple of years ago during the lockdowns, and out of nowhere she said to me, you know what is weird that we've never talked about? Like, this is so crazy. 15 years ago, when I was living in Perth, we met at a house party over there when you were visiting, right? And we had this, like, immediate connection. We just really hit it off. You could, like, tell that there was an attraction there. You could tell that sparks were flying. And I went to get a drink at one point, and when I came back, I couldn't find you again, and I also couldn't find anyone at the party who knew you, so I never managed to track down your number. And I always wondered, like, what happened to you in the years since, right? And then I had never seen you, and then that night that I was at the house party, and my friend was teaching me how to do the DM slide, you randomly showed up on my Discover page on my Instagram, and it was like the universe knew after all this time that we were finally ready to be together, and so it brought us back together in that moment. Isn't that, like, just crazy the way things can work out? And I was like, yeah, you're right, I'd never thought of it like that, but you're right, that is, like, just a crazy, crazy coincidence. And in my head I went, I've never been to a fucking house party in Perth in my entire life. And so now I am on the edge in this relationship because somewhere out there is a man who she is in love with. And if she sees him again, it's over for me, folks. I had to come clean to her after like a week. I couldn't sit on it any longer. I had to sit her down. I had to say, look, I got to be completely honest with you. That I've never been to a house party in Perth. That wasn't me. I don't know who that was, but I'm sorry I didn't say anything sooner. I hope this doesn't change the way you feel about us and about this relationship. And yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, that just wasn't me. And my girlfriend goes to me, yeah, I had an inkling that it wasn't you. I was like, oh, right, what gave you that inkling? And she goes, well, when I met you at the party in Perth, you were telling me that your job is that you work as a mechanic. And last week you had to call roadside assist to get them to turn the hazard lights off. Yep, pretty pathetic, but my counterpoint to that is that you have spent 15 years of your life with a boner for a mechanic who looks like this. Hello?
Tommy, this is famous podcast host Patrick Oddcast. You get it? Patrick Oddcast? I read your email. I was hoping you could tell me more about your story.
Oh, sure thing. Well, first things first, I've got to say I absolutely adore your true crime podcast. Never miss an episode. So someone stole my identity. The cops won't do anything about it. The bank doesn't care. And I thought this could be a great case for you to solve on your true crime podcast.
Do you know how many emails I get from dipshits like you want me to solve their little bullshit crimes for them? I'm not Batman. I'm just a white guy who had nothing else going on. But one crime I can help you solve is the crime of having your little flesh nugget engulfed in shrubbery. Thanks to the new pipe cleaner from Bloke Chop Personal Grooming Products. Use the promo code WHITEGUY and get 20% off.
What the hell? Are you recording right now?
Yeah, sorry, the force of habit. If I speak more than 10 seconds, I drift into an ad read.
Whatever, I need your help, okay? True crime podcasts like yours are the only way that these cases get solved anymore.
My podcast isn't even about true crime. No, it's just me and my buddies talking about different farts we've done every week. It's called the Little Fart Club.
How droll. You mean to tell me your podcast has never solved the cold case of a teenager who was found dead in a car park under mysterious circumstances?
Well, yeah, once, but that was just a coincidence. She had ripped this really huge fart right before she died, and it short-circuited the security cameras. And speaking of things being short, if your nut bush is getting out of control, then you need the Sack Zapper 15 from Bloke Chop Personal Grooming. Use the code CARPARK to get free shipping.
Man, I'm begging for your help. Can't you just stop doing ads for 5 seconds?
I really can't. They've got my wife and child. If I don't ship at least 4 dozen of these things by next Tuesday, they'll chop off their thumbs. And right now you can get a free tote bag with the promo code Please Don't Hurt My Family.
Oh, God, I'm never going to find the person who did this.
I might know a guy who can help you. He's a 5-time champion of our Patreon Toot of the Month contest, and he's pretty tapped into all this cybercrime stuff. I'll ask him to contact you, but be warned, the road ahead is going to be rough and prickly. Not unlike your genitals if you don't use this.
Yeah, God, I'll take one. Jesus Christ.
Oh, thank you. And hey, just before you go, what was the name of the street that you grew up on?
Meredith Street.
Great, thanks, Tony.
I feel like if you get to steal someone's identity and use it to get $10,000, you should also have to take everything bad about their identity as well. Because at the point that my identity got stolen, I wasn't really like in the best way. Like a lot of things were going on. It was a very hard time to be a comedian there for a little bit because for about 2 years we had the lockdowns, nothing was going on, nothing was happening. And to have stuff to write stand-up comedy material about, you need things to be going wrong or be a bit like fucked up, right? And they're just like nothing like that was happening. We were just having a nice time after the lockdowns, just living our lives again. And there genuinely was a period where I thought to myself, maybe this is it. Maybe I'm never going to write a new piece of stand-up material ever again. And then I got worms and I said, fire up the cameras, it's time to speak truth to power. This isn't a metaphor, by the way. I am talking about literal worms in my actual arsehole. I don't know how many other people have had the pleasure, but it is a long emotional roller coaster that you go on when you think you might have worms. For me, for the longest time, I thought I just had common garden variety itchy arsehole. We've all been there, haven't we, ladies? A dot that is burning with the fury of 1,000 suns. Guys, this next 6 minutes is happening whether you want it to or not, okay? So just get around me and then we can push through this together. Much like the worms pushed through my little anus, okay? The light bulb moment for me was one morning I was watching my girlfriend get ready for work and I thought, as soon as she is out the door, I am going into the living room, I am going to strip completely naked, I am going to sit down on the carpet and I'm going to rock back and forth using the coarse texture of the carpet to get myself some goddamn relief down there. I don't know how many of you have had the experience where you make eye contact with your dog and you can read his thoughts as he goes, brother, you have got to get a grip. This is pathetic. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to drink out of the toilet and lick my own penis for 6.5 hours. You swine. So I tested positive for the worms virus. Put a little rat up there. Got the 2 lines, one of them was wiggling. I was like, yep. We're on here. And I truly don't really even know how I got worms. Like, I was trying to think, like, what had I done that week that had been any different? But I'd just been living my life as per usual, going about my regular weekly activities like eating dirt and rimming earthworm gin. God. It's PC culture gone mad. You can't fucking do anything anymore. So I had to go to the chemist and I had to get the treatment for worms. Does anyone know what the treatment for worms is? Chocolate. Chocolate? Who said chocolate? Oh, it's a pill. Chocolate? Where'd you get that from? Chocolate. What? No, I'm just kidding, it's chocolate. It's this new thing I'm trying with my crowd work where I like to just gaslight one audience member at a time. What do you do for a living? I'm an architect. No, you're not. You sound crazy. I design buildings. You're being hysterical. So yeah, it's chocolate. So I go into the chemist and I get the worms chocolate. The box of the worms chocolate, by the way, is one of the most horrific things I've ever seen in my life. It's a cartoon picture of 3 little worms, all kind of like happily playing and jumping around, just unaware that they are about to be absolutely genocided by what's in the box. Also, that's not selling me on the product. I don't want to see these little fellas like having a good time, going about their lives. I want to know that this product gets results. I want the cover of the box of worms chocolate to be like a little cartoon of an open casket worm funeral with just a widow worm next to it, just like, why? Why did the host have to eat this product that's 100% effective? So I take the worms chocolate home, and I found it difficult to take the worms chocolate. I found it like kind of grotesque, to be honest, not because of the kind of medication that it is. The reason that I was hesitant to take the worms chocolate is because I don't really like chocolate. And I can tell there's some of you in here that find that statement more off-putting than having heard me describe having a parasite. But I'm just not a sweet tooth. I might be a worm ass, but I'm not a sweet tooth. Just found it hard to get around to. Every day I'd be like, look, is there like a worm chicken crimpy shape? Because I could knock off a box of them right now. So finally, my girlfriend basically pins me down. She makes me eat the worms chocolate because she's like, there are skid marks all over the living room. It looks like the goddamn Calder Park Raceway in here. This is out of hand. So I eat the worms chocolate, and folks, I got to tell you, I've tried Cadbury, I've tried Lindt, I've tried Haig's, I've tried Ferrero Rocher, I've tried Terry's Chocolate Orange. Combantrin worms treatment is the only chocolate I've ever enjoyed. I only had to have like 3 squares of it. I knocked off the entire packet in one sitting, popped off down to Chemist Warehouse for a second packet just to be on the safe side. You're looking at me like I'm insane. This is my gateway to confectionery, okay? I now see what all the rest of you are on about. I'm annoyed that there's not more flavours of worms chocolate for the next time I get worms. And there will be a next time, don't you worry about that. I want Wonka to get on the act. I want there to be like a worms chocolate that's got bits of Skittles and shit in it, you know? They're missing a trick. Why not have like a worms chocolate that's got some of those like sour gummy worms in the middle of it, you know, keep it all on theme? I want to be at Cold Rock. I want to be at Cold Rock and be able to say, you know what? My arsehole's been feeling a little itchy. Chuck some worms chocolate in there next to the Turkish Delight and let's get this show on the road. Because when you first hear about the worms chocolate, this is my response, you think like, isn't this weird that this treatment for this thing is a food? Like, that's bizarre. But then the more you think about it, it's the only thing that makes sense. Like, we all have to take these medications. We either like don't want to because they're yucky or we like forget to take them. Every medicine should be a food, right? Like every year on MasterChef, they should be like, the challenge this week is to get Robitussin not to taste like the inside of an actual bin. Think about what we could do to the male suicide rate in this country if we could get an antidepressant into the form of a large meat lover's pizza. It'd be a beautiful world to live in, wouldn't it? Just seeing ads with just these blokes on it being like, yeah, I was sitting on the couch, I was thinking about ending it all, and then I saw the ad for the Domino's Westgate Bridge combo, and now I'm happily medicated. And sure, I've had diarrhea for 4 straight months, but on the plus side, I'm painting again. Hello?
Tommy, it's your old pal, Scrombus.
Scrombus. Sounds like a name that someone came up with in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, these things take a while to animate, and the deadline was looming.
Fair enough.
I'm the proprietor here at the Dark Web, an online swamp where filthy little piglets can fulfill their most perverted desires. Let me guess, you're out of worms chocolate again.
No, I'm about to confront the fiend who stole my identity and I need to be prepared.
Ooh, identity theft. Let's see what I've got. Can I interest you in this fake university ID? You could get a student ticket price at the movies, even though you dropped out twice.
I didn't drop out, I deferred, and I can go back whenever I want.
Yeah, sure thing. Getting an arts degree at age 40 sounds like a great move. Oh, how's this? You get revenge on the imposter using this fake Tommy voodoo doll. Look, I'm tickling his little balls.
Whoa.
Oh, I guess I made it a bit too accurate.
No, keep going. I'm really stressed right now.
All quote-unquote jokes aside, if you're serious about taking this crook down, you're gonna want this little beauty that just came in. They call her the Guzzler. No recoil, instant reload, heat-seeking missiles, side-activated buzzsaws, and state-of-the-art voice range.
Whoa, I don't think I want to buy a firearm over the internet.
Firearm? No. This is the latest pubic hair trimmer from Bloke Chop Personal Grooming. Having a prestige junk is the key to victory. And if you use the code DARKWEB...
Yeah, whatever. Just sign me up, whatever.
Oh, fantastic. And now, before you go, what's your PIN number?
4986.
Oh, great. Thanks, Tom.
Really shouldn't have said the actual number there. A little while ago, I did have the experience of pretending to be someone else. I stole someone else's identity and I had a fantastic time doing it. It was the start of 2020 and I went to see a concert by my favourite band, Hot Chip. They're a British electropop band. I absolutely love them, right? So I went to see them at the Forum Theatre in Melbourne. I was with some of my best friends. The band played some of my favourite songs off their most recent album. They sounded amazing. Had this brilliant night, right? And then just after the concert's finished, I'm out in the street out the front of the Forum Theatre as all the people that have been in the show are like filtering out into the street, and I'm standing there with my friends, and this guy who I've never seen before comes up to me and he goes, "Oh my God, it's you! Alexis Taylor, the lead singer from Hot Chip. That was such a good show. Can I get a photo with you?" Now, I realise that most of you probably don't know what Alexis Taylor from Hot Chip looks like, so we've got a picture here. I mean, I don't see it, but... No, this is actually him. Yeah, that's... What it essentially is just a guy coming up to you and going, you look like a little dork with glasses. Also, this is just like what 85% of men in Melbourne look like. This guy must walk into a wine bar and think he's at a Hot Chip concert, you know? So I said to the guy, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not him. I've never heard that one before, but hey, good luck. I hope you do get to meet him. That'd be cool. And I thought that would be the end of the interaction. But then this guy looks back at me, sort of eyes me up and down, gives me the elevator, and he goes, nah, it's you. It's you, actually. So come on, Alexis, get in. Let's get the photo. And like, I had just not left any more gas in the tank for this interaction, right? Multiple times I've had to prove who I am. I've never had to prove who I'm not. So I just start listing all the ways in which I'm not Alexis Taylor. I'm like, oh, look, man, the gig just finished. I'm already out in the street. I'm not sweating at all. I'm in different clothes. And also, you must know that they're a British band, and you must have heard by now I'm talking in an Australian accent. I don't know how to help you, but I'm just genuinely not him. And this guy looks back at me, he pauses for a second, and he goes, mate, if you didn't want to get recognised, you shouldn't be standing around out the front of your own fucking gig. Now, can I get a photo? He's furious, but he still wants the photo. I really respected the hell out of it. So I'm like, all right, yeah, let's take the photo. And then what happens is all these other people that are standing around out the front of the concert, they see this happen, and then they're all turning to each other going, oh my God, it's the lead singer from Hot Chip, and he's just giving out photos willy-nilly to whoever wants one. So now there is a line of 25 people waiting to get a photo with me, and genuinely in my head I think, maybe I got hit by a bus and I'm dead and in purgatory and I just have to do this for the rest of eternity as my punishment for not living a more pure life on earth. So I'm there, I'm taking the photos, I've got Drew with me, my friend, and I'm just getting him in the photos, saying this is my manager. I'm gonna have to insist that he be in the photo with me. I'm trying to have a bit of fun with it. The full meet and greet goes for about 45 minutes. Finally it ends, me and Drew are exhausted, we're like, you know what, let's go around the corner and get a drink and just unpack everything that's just happened. So we walk around the corner into this laneway that's next to the Forum. There's a little bar in there. We walk in and the first person we see is the first guy that got the photo with me. He's sitting there by himself. He sees us walk in and he stands up and he goes, hey everyone, this is the lead singer from Hot Chip. They've just played a sold out gig around the corner at the Forum. We need to get these guys some shots. So people are buying us drinks. The venue starts playing songs by Hot Chip. Pretty weird to assume that the singer would want to listen to his own band. But they're my favourite band. I'm having a great time. And because I don't always like who I am. I've spent a lot of time wishing I was someone different. And so I'm just really treating this as my opportunity to lean in, and pretend to be someone whose art I've always liked and whose worldview has always been so appealing to me. Because I just figure I got pushed into this, okay? I had nothing to do with this. I didn't make this happen. I'm not hurting anyone by doing this. I mean, there was that guy who I promised that I would sing at his wedding in a year's time. Probably a little bit hurt. There was also that person who I promised that Hot Chip would play at their kids' school's fundraiser. Probably a bit hurt. There was that guy whose sister's a really big Hot Chip fan and she's sick in hospital, and I said I'd go visit her. Now that I'm thinking about it, I did hurt between 10 and 15 people that night, but I got to feel like a star, okay? I needed this. I had worms. I needed a run on the board. So the next day I wake up, I'm really hungover, I'm sort of piecing the night together in my memory, texting back and forth with Drew about what a weird night. And then I just get this sudden flush of anxiety where I realise that there's something that I've got to check up on. And so I go onto Instagram, I go onto Alexis Taylor's Instagram page. His Instagram handle is @AlexisHotChip. I'm on his page and I go onto the little tab that you can go onto a person's profile where you can see all the photos that they've been tagged in. And the 15 most recent photos that he's been tagged in are photos of me out the front of the Forum. And I'm thinking, this is not good. Because have you ever had the experience where like a friend will come up to you and they're like, oh, I saw someone in the street who looks exactly like you. I got a photo of them. And then they show you a photo of the most hideous little mutant you've ever seen in your life. Imagine you're Alexis Taylor, you wake up to 15 photos of this saying, that's you. Not the best start to the day while you're having your muesli. So I'm sort of really panicked and I'm scrolling through all the photos and I get back to the furthest most back one and it was that first guy who got the photo with me. He's posted the photo, he's captioned it, so great to meet at Alexis Hot Chip out the front of their gig at the Forum. It was fantastic. And Alexis has seen this and he's commented saying, I don't know who this is, but it's not me. Which sounds like he hates me, so that's cool. But then that first guy who got the photo, he's replied to this underneath and said, don't start this again. It's fucking you. Hello?
Tommy, I'll keep this quick because my mum needs to use the phone soon. My name is Grillip, but you may know me by my online handle of keyboard_warrior. I'm famous across the World Wide Web. I spend my days administering justice on message boards, avenging the downtrodden, and begging women to send me photos of their feet. I hear you've been looking for the man who stole your identity.
Or woman.
Get real. I've done a thorough background search in order to track this rascal down. I found your bank statements, your search history, and I also found your secret blog with all of your drawings of Fred Flintstone rooting Sonic the Hedgehog. And I loved how anatomically correct they were. You'd never know you dropped out of art school twice.
Art deferred.
But that's beside the point, Tommy. I believe I've tracked down the person who stole your identity. And not only that, I think they're about to steal it again.
What? But how?
Apparently, they've been calling you for the last hour under a series of aliases. They've used a complicated assortment of codes to trick you out of sensitive information like your mother's maiden name and your first address.
Wow, these guys are good. I didn't notice any of that happening at all. And I'm certain that none of these 100 people did either. But why are they so hell-bent on stealing my identity?
There's no time to explain. You need to head into the internet and confront them yourself. I've developed a sophisticated piece of top-secret virtual reality machinery that will let you hack into the mainframe.
All right, well, bring it over.
Hi, Tommy. This was supposed to be a very realistic-looking VR headset, but you've spent all your fucking money on all this other shit. So this is $7 from Kmart.
Yeah, sure. They're in for a penny, they're in for a pound. They get it.
Look, that's right. Put that on and follow me into the computer. I'll meet you there after I send a bad Google review to the Red Rooster at Sunshine Plaza. They said I made a filthy mess in the toilets, but it wasn't me. Actually, before I go, Tommy, what was the name of your primary school?
Malvern Central...
Don't answer that, you idiot! God, you're dumb! Fucking idiot!
All right, folks, this is it. Are you ready to come with me into the internet and find the person who stole my identity? God, this is so exciting. You should be able to see what I'm seeing right now through the realistic headset.
Now that you're jacked in, you should be able to... Ah! Christ! The headset's got a virus. There's pop-ups everywhere. Someone's been looking at pornos on this bloody thing again. I'm always telling my brother, you can use the headset, just don't look at pornos on it. And do you think he listens?
All right, I'll get it.
Okay, this is it, Tommy. The mastermind is just up ahead. I hope you bring him to justice, but more importantly, I hope this is a satisfying payoff for the audience who have been very patient during all of this rot.
Recognize me, Tommy?
Oh my God, the culprit all along was the parasitic worm that was living inside me. from before.
Yes, from before. It's all coming together at the end here. Really clever stuff.
No offence, but how did you steal my identity?
Ever since I was a young lad, I've been forced to conform and be like all the other worms. I started thinking there must be something more to life than just squirming around in a human anus.
It's pure poetry that I've cooked up here, isn't it, guys?
I want to create. I want to inspire. And so one day, I slithered upwards, hacked into your brain, and marched into the ANZ Bank to apply for a loan.
Oh, it's just like the plot of the film Ratatouille. You know, I've got the soundtrack out back on vinyl. If you want, I could chuck it on and we could...
Now is not the right time for the Ratatouille soundtrack. There is no right time for the Ratatouille soundtrack.
I don't get it, man. Haven't you been paying attention for the last 45 minutes? Why would anyone even want to be me anyway?
Who wouldn't want to be you? For a start, your artwork is funny and original, and you're so humble about it. People probably don't even realize that you did all of the drawings for this show, but you didn't even feel the need to make a big song and dance about it.
Well, it's pretty embarrassing, but since you brought it up, it was a lot of work. So what, you didn't even want the money? You just wanted to see if you could pass as me?
Yes, and I was so happy. I was finally an individual. But then you ate 23 packets of that chocolate and flushed us all out. With my last ounce of strength, I wiggled out of that hot little bot and into the computer. If I can't be you in the real world, then I'll exist as you online, flexing my creativity in the ways I've always dreamed of, posting fit pics and thirst traps on social media.
No, my carefully cultivated online presence.
I just have one last piece of your identity to gobble up, and then I'll have consumed the entire essence of Tommy Dassalo. It's your first ever media appearance. Sleuth 101 on the ABC.
Oh, God.
Today was very whack, you know. It's crazy like spider monkey. No, Mikhail, that's bull poop. If you can't supply the MPEGs by 2 p.m, the deal is off and you are dead to me. Anyway, big hugs to Jenny and the kids. Bye.
So where exactly in Scandinavia are you from? No? Okay.
I like you. You're feisty. You've cracked the code. Well done. I'm from Broadmeadows. It's an elaborate ruse.
Oh, what the hell is this? Have you no respect for the taxpayers' dollars? Oh, God! I have to get out of the computer before this garbage kills me!
It's actually better than I remember it, honestly.
Oh! Please! I'll give you back your identity. I'll steal you another identity. You could be Tiger King or Husey.
Sorry, pal. Looks like you ate the wrong ass. All right. Well, thanks for coming to my little Rocker Stedford concert, everyone. Hot Chip have come out to this country since I had that experience out the front of the Forum. They put out a new album in 2022. They announced a tour at the end of last year. They announced that they were playing 2 cities in Australia, Sydney, checks out, and Brisbane. No Melbourne. Not to display too much main character syndrome. But I can't help but think that that is 100% definitely because of me. Anyway, now that I was confident with my money because I'd cleared everything up about the loan with the ANZ Bank, I was able to buy tickets to go and see them in Sydney. I also bought flights and accommodation for me and my girlfriend to go up there and see them together. Very excited to see the band play, but in all honesty, I did have a bit of an ulterior motive for going, right? Because I'd started, in the meantime, doing stand-up about that bit that you saw before about looking like Alexis Taylor, and as you've seen, it's killer stuff. And so I knew that at some point I was doing this show, right? And I wanted like a big ending for it, and I started thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if I could get Alexis Taylor to do like a little video to have at the end of the show tying into all this stuff? Like, you know that guy that most of you didn't know existed until 15 minutes ago? Imagine if he'd been up on the screen, that would have been cool. And so I just get fixated on this, right? Because nothing really ended up happening with the identity theft. There was no real end to the story. And I thought, I need this video from Alexis Taylor. Otherwise, I'm going to have to come up with a whole bunch of other made-up shit to have in the show. I just fixate on this and I convince myself that me getting a video from Alexis Taylor for the show is the thing that is going to turn this into my Nanette, okay? And so I'm venting all of this to my girlfriend before we head up to Sydney, right? I'm venting all this I feels like I should be able to make it happen if we're at the show in the same room as him. And she says to me, you know what? You just got to put your faith in the universe and it'll all work out. Like how the universe brought us back together after 15 years from meeting at that house party. And I said, no, again, that wasn't me. She's like, oh yeah. And she gets this wistful look in her eyes. I'm like, she's thinking about that goddamn mechanic again. Then she was like, why don't you DM him and to make sure he gets it, go back and like every single photo he's ever posted. I'm like, look, me being put on a watch list would be an ending to the show, but it's not the kind of ending I want, right? So anyway, we go up to Sydney and we're at the concert. They're playing all my favourite songs off the most recent album. They sound fantastic. I'm there with someone I love. We're having a great time, but I'm just distracted in my own head. I'm like, he's right there. I must be able to get a video from him somehow. How can I make this happen? And then I start spiralling and thinking to myself, I've turned this into something that it's not, you know? I probably don't even really look that much like him at all. I'm just imagining it. And then I go to the bar to get a drink halfway through the gig and I get mistaken for Alexis Taylor in the crowd while he is on stage playing the concert. I swear to God that happened, right? So the concert finishes, me and my girlfriend are standing around and just kind of working out what to do next. And then we run into a friend of mine from Sydney called Levins. He's a DJ up there. He's a good friend of mine. He loves Hot Chip as well. He was at the show. And we're chatting to him for a bit. And then he says to us, hey, I'm actually about to go backstage because I'm friends with someone from the band's record label. I've got these 2 spare backstage passes. Do you guys want to come back with me? And I'm thinking, well. The universe took care of it. So we head backstage. I'm buzzing, right? We walk into the green room and I'm standing here and Alexis is right here. I can't believe it. This is the moment. It's going to happen. I'm so psyched that I don't even care that people aren't making a bigger deal about the fact that we're standing next to each other. Just at least one person going, holy shit, a mirror just walked into the room. Would have been nice. So he's in the middle of a conversation and I realise I've got to dump so much information on him. So I'm like, I'll just leave him to have his conversation. I'll wait for an opportune moment to jump in, right? So I'm over here talking to someone who I've just been introduced to, waiting for my moment, and then I just get this sudden like surge of adrenaline. And I'm not normally a confident person in these scenarios, but I just get this moment where I'm like, this is it, it's happening, I've got to do it. So I turn around and I go to speak to Alexis Taylor and he's gone. Somewhere in there while I've been talking to this guy, he just left the room without me noticing. And so I spiral. I'm so upset. I feel like I could cry. I'm just caning myself. The universe gave me this moment on a silver platter and I was too hopeless to follow up and do anything about it. And this might sound hyperbolic, but this just felt like a microcosm of everything that I don't like about myself. I'm just beating myself up. I'm like, you're useless. You're hopeless. You do not deserve good things to happen to you. You do not deserve happiness in your life. I've just realised that I'm still wearing the hat and can't help but feel like maybe that undermines some of the gravitas I was going for this thing. So I head over to where my girlfriend and Levins are. They're talking to this guy who I don't know, and I'm just waiting for a moment in their conversation to just say that like I'm going to head off, get an Uber and go back to the hotel. And I'm so sort of spun out by everything that's happened that it takes me a few moments to realise that the person that they're talking to in conversation is Joe Goddard, who's the other main guy in Hot Chip, right? So now I'm in a conversation with the other main member of one of my favourite bands of all time. And I'm thinking, you know what? Don't beat yourself up. This is a great end of the story. You know, don't focus on the negative. This is still a positive. You're still getting to have an interaction with someone who's made art that has been like a presence in your life for like all of your adult life. This is still a great end to this night. And then we're chatting away and eventually Joe says, hey, we've got a couple of days off at the end of the tour. I'm going to Melbourne tomorrow. Do any of you have any good recommendations for like restaurants or bars or anything in Melbourne? And I go, yeah, we're from Melbourne. We came up here for this. I'd be happy to give you some good places to go to. And he goes, oh, that'd be fantastic. And then his phone pings and he goes, oh, my Uber's here. Can I give you my number? Would you mind texting me those recommendations in the morning? That'd be really great. And I go, yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. So I get his number. Now I have the phone number of one of the main guys in my favourite band, Hot Chip. So the next morning I get up, I send him a big message of restaurants and bars that I think are really cool in Melbourne. I give a little bit of information about all of them, send him this long text, and then I think to myself, this is it. I've got to shoot my shot here. So I send him a follow-up text message that is easily the most deranged block of text I have ever written out in my life, because there's so much backstory. I'm like, oh, I was at the Forum, people thought I was Alexis, I do stand-up, I'm doing this show. I've got like a whole paragraph about the ANZ Falcon in there for some reason. I'm typing it out thinking I'm about to find out that the iPhone has a character limit for texts. Like, I must be surely about to hit the end of this thing. I send the whole thing off, I hit send, and whole day goes past, no reply. Next day, whole day goes past, no reply. Third day, whole day goes past, no reply. 6 p.m, I'm in the kitchen, I'm making dinner. I hear my phone beep from another room. I go and get it, and I've got a text back from Joe. It says, Tommy, thank you so much for taking the time to send me those recommendations. They were fantastic. I loved them. The people I went with loved them. I really, really appreciate you sending me to such fantastic places in Melbourne. It made the trip such a delight. And in regards to the second part of your message, I'm afraid I can't be of any help here because I'm not Joe from Hot Chip. I was just back there because I work for their record label and I guess I look a little bit like him, but also you must know that he's British and I'm Dutch. I was speaking to you in a Dutch accent. Nothing in my life has prepared me for this interaction. Like, I stared at my phone for what felt like 7 hours. The colours just drained out of my face. I'm shaking. I didn't know what to send back. And so finally I just wrote back, nah, it's you. It's you, actually. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, you're...
Alexis Taylor from Hot Chip.
Oh my God, I've got this crazy story about you. I was at your gig and I was at...
Yeah, I know. You've been messaging me about it a lot. I just came down here to tell you I'm not going to be in your comedy program. I'm just not interested in doing that.
Oh, it's a shame, because yeah, it would have been really funny and satisfying end to the whole special. So wait, you flew all the way out to Melbourne just to tell me that?
Yeah, quite recently there was this strange bank transfer of $10,000 into my account from ANZ, and I just thought, well, I'll use that to come over here and tell you, you know.
Yeah, well, it's a shame you don't want to be in the show, but I got to go out and do a curtain call.
I don't think I look anything like that guy.